Hell's Kitchen Season 24 Battle of the States Episode 1 Review. Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's good to be back for another season of Hell's Kitchen reviews. So over the next 4 months, I'll be sharing a brief recap and my thoughts on each Season 24 episode of Hell's Kitchen, and I'll also be providing a platform for fans to share their thoughts on the season as well. Now after watching this season premiere, if I had to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a solid 7. This season premiere was light on the drama, but heavy on letting us as the viewing audience get to know the chefs that will be participating on the show for this season. Over the course of this video, I'll give a brief rundown of what happened during the episode, and I will share my thoughts on which chefs impressed me thus far and which chefs have a long shot of making it to the finale. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. The season premiere kicks off with Gordon addressing a room full of people, some of which are chefs that have been selected for this season of the show. Essentially, there were 50 chefs, meaning one from each state, that was selected for the interview and evaluation process. And when it was all said and done, Gordon picked 20 top chefs. These chefs are Anya from Delaware, Sydney from North Carolina, Chase from Montana, Carlos from Alaska, Kat from Maryland, Chris from New Jersey, Paul from Colorado, Jada from Florida, Cara Marie from Rhode Island, Anthony from Iowa, Lisa from California, Bradley from Louisiana, Alexandria from Oregon, Henry from Texas, Antonio from New Hampshire, Alana from South Carolina, Maddie from New York, Jaden from Massachusetts, Ellie from Nevada, and John from Georgia. So right off the bat, what I liked about the early portion of this episode is that it seems like all the chefs get some time to shine, and we get to know a little something about each and every one of them. This far into the episode, I have to admit that I can't stop looking at Jada from Florida. She's giving off Janet Jackson energy, and her looks combined with her personality and culinary skills tells me that she will make it pretty far into the competition. Now of course, in the very first challenge for this season, the chefs are to create their signature dish that will put their state on the map. The chefs from each team get to go head to head, and the team that gets the highest score wins the challenge. The first chefs to go head to head is Ellie versus Paul, and in this face-off, Ellie gets a 3 while Paul gets a 2. Next up is Jada versus Anthony. Jada gets a 5 and Anthony gets a 5. Following them is Cara Marie and Jaden. Cara Marie gets a 2 and Jaden got a 4. Next is Antonio versus Alana. Antonio got a 4 and Alana got a 3. Then we have Kat versus Chris. Kat gets a 4 and Chris gets a 4. Next up is Chase versus Anaya. Chase gets a 4 and Anaya gets a 4. Next up is Maddie versus John. Maddie gets a 4 and John gets a 4. Next we have Carlos versus Sydney. Carlos gets a 2 and Sydney gets a 2. Following them is Alexandria versus Bradley. Alexandria gets a 4 and Bradley gets a 5. And lastly we have Lisa versus Henry. Lisa gets a 5 and Henry gets a 4, which ties everything up. Gordon selects Bradley versus Lisa as the tiebreaker dishes, and Gordon gives the win to the red team. Overall, it seems like most of these chefs are very good cooks, while some of them may need to overcome any nervousness or other issues that they have in order to get their head into the competition. The remainder of this episode shows the red team enjoying the perks of winning, while the blue team had to face a punishment. Then we see both teams back in the dorm room the night before the big day, and the episode ended with both teams getting ready to prepare for the punishment pass challenge. So with that being said, a few moments ago I mentioned that this season features some very talented chefs, but any seasoned fan of Hell's Kitchen knows that cooking skills alone won't get a chef to the finale. A chef also has to cook Gordon's food to Gordon's standards, and they have to display strong leadership skills. As of right now, it's entirely too early to determine which chefs have the best chance of making it to the finale, but I will point out my favorite chefs from this episode. In my top 5 list, I have Jada, Bradley, Anthony, Chris, and John. I think that out of this list, Jada has the most impressive resume, having accomplished so much at such a young age. But I think the other chefs will definitely give her a run for her money. Now some of you may be wondering why I didn't pick Lisa in part of my top 5. I think that Lisa is a very talented chef, and she did have the best dish in the first challenge. But given the dish that she cooked, I wonder if she's only good at cooking her own dishes, or if she can adapt to cook Gordon's dishes just as good. Now, on my list of least favorite chefs thus far, I gotta go with Paul, Cara Marie, Carlos, and Alexandria. I don't see any of these chefs making it near the finale, let alone the top 10. But as the season progresses and the herd starts to thin out, we will get a better picture of who the contenders and the pretenders are. Now, I saw the previews for this season, and it looks like that we're in for a lot of drama. But as long as we get some good cooking in the mix, I'm cool with it. But this marks the end of my review. Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.